Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Shadow of the Colossus playthrough. Last time we fought the really awesome Avian, and this time we're heading for our 6th Colossi. After this it's 10 more to go. So we're rattling through them really. I mean, I have to say, in the grand scheme of things, Shadow of the Colossus is not a long game. Like, I remember people saying you're looking at about 8 hours or so, as I think the estimates of some people. However, you know, having actually played it, obviously I had a bit of help, but it was closer to 6.5 for me. Obviously, it would have been closer to 6 had it not been for Phaedra being the nightmare that she was. But hey, what can you do? Horses will do their own thing. I mean, good example being Aggro. She will really do her own thing if you let her, because she'll just go and she'll go drink from the watering hole, she'll go and graze. And I mean, if you just leave the title screen on for ages, then she will well, basically, you'll get just a sort of cutscene where Aggro just runs about the fields by herself and just has a really good time. Part of me thinks I probably should have shown that off at some point, but hey, if you want to see it, I'm sure plenty of people on YouTube have included it. And also, just get the game yourself and watch it happen, because you never know quite what Aggro will do. But yeah, I have to say, she's definitely my favourite video game horse. I don't have many. Largely because I'm not... I mean, I suppose the only real game that I've ever played where I've actually had a horse has been the Legend of Zelda games. I'm trying to think of any other games where I've had a horse in the game. And I'm pretty sure that, yeah, those are the only ones. Obviously, there are plenty of horses in gaming these days, because you had Metal Gear Solid 5, you've had, I'm pretty sure numerous Assassin's Creeds have had horses in them. People just really, really like horses in games right now. I think it's because they're a bit of a challenge to animate, but if you pull it off well, then everyone just goes, oh my god, it's a horse, and it looks amazing, and I feel like a badass because I'm riding a horse. And even if sort of, maybe it doesn't always work out as it probably should, it's alright. And yeah, I got a little bit concerned here, because I was just like, how the hell am I meant to get down there? But thankfully, this path is going to lead us there. It's one of the things that I think a lot of people did end up criticising about the original Shadow of the Colossus, is that ultimately the sword points you bird's eye to where the next Colossi is. It doesn't necessarily indicate which path you have to go in order to get there. There's a sort of rough indication, but it's not sort of major, and this is quite the change in terms of feeling, because we went from grassy forest to suddenly there's a desert here. Not quite sure why there is a desert here. I mean, I suppose there is the one that is sort of behind the temple, which makes a bit of sense that it does sort of exist here, but it's a little bit concerning that there is sort of wildly different ecosystems so close together, because you don't tend to get that. I mean, obviously, if you look at the world of The Legend of Zelda, then you're just like, this place would be hell to live. Because, like, seriously, having a volcano, a frosty, snowy area, a temperate climate, a desert, and a pretty much constantly raining rainforest type area, all pretty close to each other. Yeah, that's going to cause all sorts of natural disasters. I think there might be a video on the Game Theory channel that deals with that quite exactly, but it's been a while, and also I'm surprised to see this fella here, but here he is. There are some of the white-tailed lizards that aren't sitting around the shrines, and those guys are dicks. Because how you're meant to find them is beyond me. I mean, also, in the remake, actually, they included a whole bunch of coins that you can find, and they are really well hidden. I'm probably actually only going to see one my entire playthrough, and even then I didn't actually manage to pick it up. You'll see why when we get there, but it's going to be a very, 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 very long time before that happens. Very long time. But right now, we've got to, you know, get to our next Colossi. Although rather hilariously, there's another tree with fruit on it. Right by a tree that had fruit on it. I'm not quite sure why these decided to grow so close to each other. But hey, who am I to complain? It's like loads of free fruit. I mean, really, what you want more than anything is grip rather than health. Because most of the Colossi don't actually hurt you all that much. Obviously there's a chance of getting full damage if you end up pulling off a Colossi, but most of the time that's not going to happen. I mean, there's a few that are quite aggressive that have the chance of hurting you, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not that aggressive. So you want the grip more than anything, because they'll try and shake you off as much as they can, but if you've got more grip, then you can hang on for longer until they've stopped mucking about, and then you can, you know, stab them. But yes, this is looking very much like the place that we need to go. An underground temple, hidden in the desert. I mean, Dorbin's clue for us was, thy next foe is a giant lurks underneath the temple. It lusts for destruction, but a fool it is not. And I think this is probably one of the ones that a lot of people get slightly terrified by when they first encounter it. Because we have this massive ladder, and I mean, it's huge, and effectively you've just sort of got to drop all the way down. I mean, my sort of cue was you just sort of fall, grab, and then that sort of just helps keep things going. But either way, here is our next Colossi. this is Barber. And yeah, you're gonna have to run. And he can very, very easily kill you if you do not run. Because, yeah, he's got a lot of strength behind him. I mean, obviously he's huge. But he's the only Colossi that actually uses his fists as his primary weapon. And he'll just break through these walls like there is no tomorrow. He is annoyingly actually quite a simple Colossi, because it's just a case of run to the end and then jump on his beard, and then use that to, you know, defeat him, but still, it's quite a fun one. And there's a few interesting things with it. So, obviously, the name that people gave him was Barber, and that's quite cool, because Barber means beard in Spanish, Portuguese and Italian. So obviously he's been named after his beard, which is such an iconic part of his design, really. He's also very unique in the sense that he's the only Colossus that you don't have to weaken to, well, weaken, disable, provoke or hit it, or even attack it in a weak spot in order to gain access to his weak point. He will, after a time, simply just look in here, just out of curiosity really, and it's at this point that then, you know, you can run and grab his beard and then go for the weak point. And oh, there's revived power again. I mean, we had grotesque figures and now we've got revived power and it's glorious. Haha. Another thing that's actually really cool with Barber is that something is... So, one of the things that Dormin mentions in his little hint is that a fool that is not... And actually one of the things that you might notice is that the weak point on Barber is actually sort of just on the left side of its head. And... just sort of in general, everything's a bit more towards its left side, and that may have been sort of done on purpose, either that or calling it not a fool, because the left side of the brain is the part that is mostly thought to be responsible for logical thought. So, really what I suppose they're trying to say is that Barber is actually sort of relatively intelligent Colossi. I mean, he's not that thick, but he did do a rather stupid thing in, you know, bending down to look for us. He should have just sort of kept pounding, but I suppose he thought, well, if I can see him, then I can attack him. But that was the thing that gave us our cue, so to speak. And as we, you know, land our final blows, Barber or Bellua Maximus, the poor beast. If I can stab him before I run out of grip. Please let me stab him before I run out of grip. Even just the tiniest little stab will do it. And there we go. Barber is defeated.